Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. Today we're going to be taking another look at Cardano and specifically the price action of ADA. And we're going to start things off, guys, on this brief update with the weekly chart here. We're going to talk about what's going on with this weekly chart and why things are looking pretty positive for Cardano right now. And we can see that we are up in this overbought area, right, on the stochastic RSI. Again, this is in line with our third wave and how much time we spent up in the overbought area during that third wave push. Obviously, the same can be said for wave one, right? We basically spent a few weeks at the beginning going up into this overbought area. We sustained staying overbought for a few more weeks, and then we started to see the correction. And again, we can take a look. It was only a few weeks into the third wave before we were overbought, and we were spending a fair amount of time up in this overbought area before we started to see this pullback from a momentum perspective, and whilst we actually peaked out when we were all the way down at the lower end. So right now, this is actually looking pretty good. We're right back up here, and we're finished with the low areas that we were at the bottom of wave 2 at the start of the bull run, bottom of wave 2, and of course wave 4. So right now everything's looking pretty positive, and you know, new all-time highs. I still feel that they're just around the corner here for Cardano and ADA. So everything is looking pretty good, right? So obviously we can see that the fifth wave, it does push up significantly. We are only really a couple of weeks away now from smart contracts rolling out on the platform. So we're going to start seeing some interesting stuff happen here on Cardano. Obviously, I have got several key targets kind of marked out. We have $10, $15, $20, and $25, all kind of marked out up here. The Fibonacci retracement tool from the high of wave 3, the low of wave 4, does show us at about $7.20, but there's lots of things that are not inside this technical data. We do not have all those new projects launching on the ecosystem. That data isn't here. It's completely void at the moment. And of course, we don't have all those projects that are looking to migrate over, 100 companies looking to migrate over from the Ethereum network over to the Cardano ecosystem, right? So all this will have an impact to price, and things are going to seriously start spiking once we start to see the smart contracts roll out. Okay, so everything is looking pretty good on long term, obviously. So we are talking about moving the needle quite significantly when it comes to ADA. Now, when we obviously jump down into our daily view, this is where things actually heat up and get a little bit more interesting. So we can get into the kind of trend lines on the smaller time frames in a moment, but here we have the Fibonacci retracement tool from that high and the low. Okay, and this obviously puts things out for Cardano up there at $7.22. That hasn't changed. That's always been the case ever since we saw this top of wave 3 come in and the bottom of wave 4. And obviously those extensions that we've just spoken about are a little bit more bullish than maybe what the Fibonacci is indicating. We can obviously see that this is the key area that really saw us then take off, right? This is the area of basically the 618702 and the 786 on the Fibonacci. Getting this closed candle above basically set us to new all-time highs, right? We saw us consolidate briefly on the previous all-time high, and then bam, we shot up nice and high. Now we found resistance up here, and basically that comes in about I think it's like $2.97. Yeah, $2.97 is the resistance line there. I will quickly just mark that up because it's going to be an interesting zone for us. So I'm just going to quickly just drop that in, so we can see that there's interesting kind of resistance that we've been fighting up against. We've been failing to get through it, and then we started to see a bit of a pullback. Now, on this daily chart, whilst we were pushing to the upside, we were very conscious that we needed to see a correction. We sustained it being overbought for quite some time, but we lost that momentum, and we are still losing it right now. And actually, we are doing pretty good to stabilize the price, considering that we oversold on this stochastic RSI. Down there at 6.4 on the fast line and 9 on the slow line. This is looking to get a reversal soon. Okay, so again, we can spend a little bit of time down here, but ultimately, I think we're going to start to see this reversal in a really big way for Cardano, and we're going to start seeing the push for ADA, and we're going to go after that first target of $3.37 before thinking about the 2.618, which will be basically $4.84. There's lots of targets ahead, and we have lots of room to grow here on this stochastic RSI. And on that note, we also want to confirm what is going on from the artificial intelligence and the machine learning that is advice.io. Here we can see that we have an A2 rating for Cardano in ADA. And basically, this is broken down into several power factors. We're going to get into what those are. To start with, we have the Fear and Greed Index specific to Cardano. And here we can see that it's an A1 rating. It's extremely greedy. So this is basically where we are right now, up against that resistance, looking for taking profit. So we can see that this is something that's happened previously. We had a few pullbacks before moving back up into this extremely greedy area. So right now, this is usually where profits are taken from traders, etc. And this is basically once we kind of see new all-time highs getting set, you're extremely extreme greed and a bit of people, FOMOing in. But experienced traders will be taking profit. And of course, when you go down into the incredibly, extremely fearful scenario, that's where you buy the dip and you buy that fear up and you appreciate the asset over time. So this is what traders do. So often what the terminology, what they say is you buy the fear and you sell the news, or you sell the greed in this case, okay? Moving averages are also doing incredibly well here for Cardano, up at an A2. So again, the 10-day, 50-day, and 100-day are looking very, very good for Cardano's ADA. Now, the Sharpe ratio, right? So the Sharpe ratio is risk to reward. So by investing in Cardano, is it risky or not? Right now, we have an A2 rating, so the artificial intelligence here is looking pretty good. So from a Sharpe ratio perspective, not too bad. We obviously have had a slight pullback recently, but again, that's in line with what we've seen on the candles. And again, we're well above the 50-day average there for the Sharpe ratio. So nothing really is concerning us when it comes to what is going on with the Sharpe ratio, so not too bad. And again, profitability down here, the return on your investments up at an A1 rating. Obviously, when I was accumulating ADA, when it was below 8 cents, basically, to where it is now, I would say it's extremely profitable, and I think we're going to see some extreme profit still to come in the second half of this year. We close Q3, go into Q4, we're going to see ADA absolutely fly. And again, the AMI-HAD ratio, no longer a problem with liquidity. We have an A2 rating, so liquidity issues have been completely resolved here, and everything is looking very, very good. So overall, an A2 rating for Cardano, and is basically given a green light here from the advice.io dashboard that this is a pretty good project that you want to be paying attention to. So obviously, we're talking about being oversold on our chart. We obviously have good data from advice.io. We have a good weekly chart, but what about the hourly? What about those shorter time frames? What's going on there? Well, when we take a look at the hourly chart, well, we can see a bit of a difference of opinion, right? We can see that actually there was a downward trend. This was invalidated. We trended it, and then we broke up. We also broke past the resistance here on this hourly chart. We are, of course, overbought in the same way that we have been previously during this run just here. So right now we are looking to have a short-term pullback on this hourly chart. Now, that does not mean that we're going to lose a load of price. It means that hopefully we'll just back test this trend line or support line, and then we'll have that break to the upside where we go after those all-time highs, okay? So although we are overbought right now, this can be sustained. We want to lose the momentum down to the downside here on the short term, basically trade sideways, and then absolutely go off like a rocket to the upside and get those all-time highs. It does feel like it is literally just around the corner with the break of the trend lines that we've seen time and time again. Finding good support is going to be vital as we get this last correction across the line, and then we should hopefully start to see a new all-time high above these resistance of $2.97. So the short term is looking pretty good. Obviously, we are looking for some sideways trades just to allow us to continue the growth. But again, the daily is looking very, very good, very tidy. Looking at the oversold area, we'll be down here for a little bit longer, a few more days, maybe a week, and then I think we'll start seeing a nice steady rise back to the overbought area as we go after these fantastic highs that we have set out on the Fibonacci. And if we're ever in doubt, we of course zoom on out and we take a look at where the weekly chart is, right? Because the weekly gives us a bigger time frame. It shows us where we're going slightly longer term, and I'm very long on Cardano, right? I will be taking profits and selling on the way up, and then buying on the way down during the bear market ahead of 2025, which is going to be an absolutely stonker of a year for Cardano, in my opinion. And we're going to see some significant growth over the next few years, and I'm going to accumulate like a madman as much ADA as I possibly humanly can. Now, on that note, obviously we do run a Cardano staking pool, right? And this is the cheeky pool, so cheek is the ticker, and basically we're going to run that all the way through the bear market as well, accumulating, add into the pool, earning more ADA, and basically just constantly building a very significant position on this project. So do join us in the bear market. We'll be targeting all of the buy zones on the way down as we lose value on ADA and basically accumulate big significant positions ahead of the next bull run. So as things spice up, as we do want to be setting on the way up towards these fantastic heights that we do have kind of marked out for us, and obviously all that profit is going to probably be parked up in some form of stablecoin, where we then throw it back into ADA during the bear market, accumulating even bigger positions ahead of the next run. So everything's looking very, very good. It's important that we do lock those profits in, and so do check out the member section where we have done some exit strategies on Cardano. You'll know our exit points and what our thought patterns are in terms of percentages that we sell and where, and then obviously we'll be accumulating in that bear market. guys, hopefully you have found this brief update on Cardano useful and informative. If you have, hit the like button. I really appreciate that. If you are new, then do subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With that said, done and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.